Hey all, welcome to this week's video. Aspie Sean week 10? Yeah, 10. This week's video is going to be on Aspies and spoon theory. It was going to be an Aspie son's guide to his past parents. After I interviewed my stepmother and my father tonight, but what they said stuck. I remembered it all. It was actually very close to what my mother and my stepfather said. Um, but it's not the thing freshest in my mind. So the spoon theory is an article written by Christine Miseriandino, but you don't look sick.com. I highly recommend you read it. She'll probably explain it a lot better than I did. Everyone I know with a disability who's read this goes, yeah, I can totally see that. I recently gave it to a family member of mine who has an autoimmune disorder, and they they went, oh, that's it exactly. They've never heard of it. They're like, oh no, that's it exactly. So why is this important? Well, after last week's video, the next day I went and worked at a friend's house. I then went to a job interview. I then talked to my ex-girlfriend. I then heard about a grandparent dying. I then went and worked more at the house. I then thought a friend of mine might be in trouble. I then fought in armor for the first time in 8 months, and this all happened between Friday morning and Sunday evening. So why? Let me break that down for you. Why is that spending a lot of spoons, as the saying will go? So real quick, spoon theory. Spoon theory is like emotional capital. Basically, every time I do something, I gotta spend a spoon. Neurotypicals have a lot of spoons. Where's my hands? There we go. Uh, Neurotypicals have a lot of spoons. Anyway, Aspies have small spoons. So every spoon we spend is more precious for it. Think of it like just not having a lot of money. A rich guy, he can blow $1,000 and nothing. He can do it all day long. Poor guy, that's like his month's wages. So yeah, it's like when you spend, you spend. And so yeah, let me break it down. Back to the story. So Friday and Saturday, I work on building a house. I'm not a home builder. I'm a courier by trade. Uh, I do sciences. I've done education, mostly blue collar, so low level white collar work or middle blue collar work. But I've never built a house. But I can lift heavy things, and so that's what I was doing. Friday and Saturday. Job interview. It was actually supposed to be on Thursday. I worked my ass off at my 1 day a week job to get off in time to go to the job interview, only to an hour before I was going to get off work and go to the job interview, have them cancel on me, go to Friday. Friday comes around, I leave my friends who need all help they can get because they're under the wire here. Go up, go down, job interview, no one's there. No one's there. No one's there. Call 10 minutes. They're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to meet you. Hold on, we'll be back to you. Half hour later, don't hear from him. In between this half hour, I saw I got a message from my dad, voicemail, and so I listened to it after they said they'll call me back. My grandmother's dying. As of this moment, she's still alive, but she doesn't have long. It's a done deal. She's on her way out, and I haven't been close to this woman in over 20 years. But even if most of the time she's lived very close here. But it's my dad's only mother. He didn't get along with his father. And it's, yeah, it's painful for him. So it's hurting me because it hurts my dad. And so I get that, and I'm like, okay, I gotta call my dad back. I call him back, can't get a hold of him, can't get a hold of him. Job interview. They call me, I get a hold of them. Oh yeah, we were supposed to, but at 11 o'clock this morning we had to cancel, so we just forgot to tell you for 5 hours. And so I was kind of pissed about that. And here I was, I had done all this work just to get there, and it wasn't going to happen. So I go off to where I thought my dad had told me to see my grandmother. It turned out it wasn't the right spot. While there, just 'cause I sent an old friend, a mutual friend of me and my ex-girlfriend. I met this friend because of my ex-girlfriend. And she was like a big sister to me. And uh, I sent her. I hadn't heard from her. We had some. We fought after me and my ex-girlfriend broke up. Me and this friend fought. She was going through a lot of shit. I was going crazy. I sent her a message. Well, I haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing? And I heard back. She's like, "Oh my God, I haven't heard from you in a while. I've been a bad friend. I've been this, been that." And we're like, "It's like, don't worry about it." I told her, "Don't worry about it. Forgive me." And we're back to talking, uh, which is awesome because I missed her a lot. And so yeah, so I go try to see my grandmother, but she's not available, and I couldn't quite figure out how to get into the hospice care facility. It's a little strange. Um, so yeah, Friday night comes around, and I reconnect with my ex. We start talking online. Um, some very wonderful things were said. We're not in a relationship. I mean, we're not in a romantic relationship. Obviously, we're talking to, but we're talking. And we hadn't really talked for months. She was my friend before we dated. She's my friend now, at least. More than my friend. Probably more like, definitely like family. Definitely family. Um, I don't know what we all are to each other, but I don't care. She's back. That's what's important. She's back. We can talk. I can chat. As an Aspie, any Aspies watching, they can definitely tell you what it means to have somebody in your life that you can tell anything. And that's what she is to me. She's one of you know, in certain ways. There's things that only I can tell, only she can hear. Only I don't know why, but my back's whole. My world's fuller. So yeah, I mean that was awesome. And then Saturday I go in at work, and a friend of mine we think is in trouble, and she wasn't the wife of the couple that I was helping. Sunday I fight an armor for the first time, and I had to deal with it all of that within 72 hours. For a neurotypical, maybe that would not be so draining, but for me it was fucking exhausting. It was all I could do to keep going the next day. And I'm glad, well, except for the grand thing, I'm not so. But, working on the house, that's helping friends, fighting an armor, that's getting back to something I love desperately. Reconnecting with an old friend who was like a sister to me. Reconnecting with my ex so I have someone I can talk to again. That's, you know, that's all really important stuff. And then my grandmother dying, and the interview getting canceled. That was all just it took out of me. It took me a lot of spoons. It took me a lot of spoons to do this. And so when you read the spoon theory, and it will be underneath in the notes section, I want you to understand what I mean. Spoons. I want you people who watch. I want you, all my fans who watch this, to read and understand that every interaction with a person, every thing that's hard for an Aspie to do costs us spoons. And it costs us more spoons than it would cost you. So either you have to go on the theory that we have less spoons, so that when we spend the same, we run out faster, or we have the same amount of spoons, but we have to spend an awful lot of them to do the same things you do. Either way, we're hosed. We're so hosed. But that's why I'm still blitzed a week later. I will recover. All the good things happening in my life will still be good. All the bad things I have to deal with, I'll deal with. My grandmother, the interview, lack of work. They are, if you had to ask me, even as blitzed as I am, as fried as I am, and keeping the Nana thing in its proper space, she's 80 something. Was it a good week? Yeah, it was. Why don't I seem that way? I'm low on spoons. But was it a good week? It was an awesome week. All things considered, it was a really awesome week. I mean, I replaced car parts that were being persnickety, but they worked. But I'm drained, and tomorrow's another fun day of construction. And this weekend there's an SCA demo, and there's practice. And the week later there is an event, 2 events, one right after the other, SCA-wise. They're actually very close to each other. I'm staying in a friend's house. It's a couple hundred miles. Oh, it's a couple hours from here. And I get to see some people I really need to. Low spoons. I'm going to do all I can to make sure that I sleep well, that I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. It's not helping. So you all have a good week. Thank you for listening to me blabber on and ramble for another week. Please, if you have any questions at all, I love fan mail. I may not get to it for a while. I'm bad at that. I apologize, but I love it. Some of the things you people tell me, some of the things you people ask me, make me want to do this series. When I hear that I'm personally, because I'm just blabbering, I'm personally helping somebody, that makes it all worthwhile. You guys have a nice week.